Dear Minister, Mr. Wali, Mr. President of Casablanca region, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be among a prestigious gathering such as yours, to join work on this new edition of Climate Finance Day, which is part of the events labeled by the 22nd Conference of Parties. First, I would like to thank Casablanca Finance City that took the flambeau from Paris Europlace to organize this important event in Casablanca. I also thank all the partners, local and international, who helped organize this conference or are participating in this event. In this regards, I would mention in particular Paris Europlace, the African Development Bank, the International Development Finance Club, and the United Nations Principles for Responsible Investment. Ladies and gentlemen, a few days from the beginning of the COP22 in Marrakesh, that's, as you know, placed under the tide of actions, as mentioned by my colleague, Mr. Mezouar. Our major challenges today is related to the transformation of the collective will showed in the Paris Agreement into a roadmap for the achievement of national contributions, mobilizing, financing, and strengthening the adaptation component. Our goal is to relate the decisions into actions in order to help contain global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. The holding of the COP22 in Africa is also, in my opinion, an opportunity to assert the voice of vulnerable countries facing the most established risk of the climate change, in particular African countries and island states. Ladies and gentlemen, being decidedly committed to climate, the Kingdom of Morocco has launched in recent years a number of initiatives in these regards, supported by the new 2011 constitutions which encouraged sustainable development as a right of all citizens. Several projects have been initiated for the consecration of these constitutional rights, including the National Charter for the Environment and Sustainable Development, the National Sustainable Development Strategy, the Green Morocco Plan, the Green Investment Plan, the Law of Plastic Waste, and so on. In addition, and in the framework of the large national project strategy, Morocco has initiated many projects in vital sectors such as renewable energy, agriculture, tourism, and transport to embody a strong commitment to sustainable development. Finally, Morocco was among the first countries to have submitted its planned contribution to determined national level indices as part of COP21, which targets a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions by 32% in 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, the needed investment to achieve the climate commitments taken so far by the Kingdom of Morocco will require the mobilization of sustainable resources estimated over $45 billion. To achieve this, it's essential that all public and private national stakeholders, international organizations, and donors join forces to channel financial flows towards low-carbon trajectory. At the national level, we believe that the climate financing issue is not the lack of financial resources, but the lack also of instruments for attracting private funding and its allocation to mitigation and adaptation targets. Banks, insurance companies, capital markets players, and other financial market participants have a major role to play in this respect. They are particularly challenged to be more innovative to conceive and propose an attractive and diverse offer of green instruments and funding products, able to meet the financing needs in order to achieve the goals that we have set. We are aware that the growth of the diversification goals of climate finance cannot be achieved without support and assistance of public authorities and the regulators. In this regard, it's fundamental to establish adequate and promoting regulatory framework both upstream in order to promote the pipeline of green projects and downstream in order to encourage their funding. COP22 will be an opportunity for Morocco to launch a concerted national initiative to align the financial sector on the issues of sustainable development. At the regional level, and in the line with the reaffirmed commitment of Morocco to promote South-South cooperation and capitalizing on the strong presence of the Moroccan financial sector in Africa, we encourage the development of an African dimension fostering the emergence of a green finance at the continental level. The Casablanca Financial Center is certainly well positioned to play a leading role at the African level in the field of climate finance and in strengthening cooperation at the continental level in sustainable development. Finally, and at the international level, it's clear that domestic financial resources alone could not meet the commitment made by southern countries in general and Morocco in particular in realizing mitigation and adaptation projects. The support of the international financial community and the mobilization of perennial concessional financing are essentially to address the underlying challenges of financing. This question requires not only commitment by donors to channel more international capital flows toward mitigation and adaptation objectives in southern countries, particularly in Africa, but especially ensuring effective additionality of grant funding, both in terms of volume and financial conditions, and also in easing the criteria and terms of access to financing. Ladies and gentlemen, the fiscal and tax dimensions are not only crucial to guide the choice of economic actors toward the implementation of commitments set up at the Paris Agreement, but also they are an effective way to confront and address the environmental and climate challenges. A climate-sensitive budgeting is an orientation that should be developed and encouraged in order to allow the deployment of countries' contributions in the best conditions and the framework of the indices. In this context, we are currently working with the support of World Bank to launch an initiative dedicated to climate change-sensitive fiscal policies. This conference will certainly be an opportunity to bring the light on climate finance issues and provide solutions to mobilize the necessary funding to achieve the objective set of COP21. I would like to wish you all a successful conference and thank you for your attention.